2, 1, go. Here we go. Hi, everybody. It's Oops All Tangents, episode 2. Woo-hoo. We can keep talking as we were, pretty much. I just wanted to make sure we were recording it and this was happening. So that we're starting at 8:30, and I wanted it to be a nice, even 30 minutes.
Nice.
Because Kyle's
Good
lazy.
plan.
Wow.
So here's my tangent. I realized that yesterday that I hadn't thought about SpiderMan all week.
New goal, let's start every one of these by just saying the word SpiderMan and seeing what happens.
We watched a really interesting video on the animation behind the Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Animated movie.
Yes.
They put a behind-the-scenes thing on Into the Spider-Verse finally on how the animation was done, and it was
Super cool.
No
Did you
fair.
see the after the credits scene yet?
No. Did we miss something when we went to see it?
Yeah, we didn't stay for an after the credits scene, but there is one.
Oh.
And it's great.
Why didn't we do that?
We were dumb.
I said it, and everyone was like, "There's not one." Then we left.
Well, that was
Weird.
dumb of us.
Yeah.
Yep.
There is always one.
It's better than the Marvel ones
Is it really?
because it does. I mean, it doesn't have to set anything up. It's not like a. It's just for fun.
Yeah. Can you just find it online?
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Okay.
I
I'll watch
thought
that
we
later.
decided that it wasn't going to have one because it was Sony.
I think
Right.
that must have been our reasoning at the time, but
Yeah.
that was still stupid
Agreed.
considering the rest of the movie.
How dare we?
I should have insisted.
I do blame Rachel.
You were right.
It's my fault. It's always my fault.
Have y'all watched it again yet?
No,
No.
I've only seen it once, which just feels like a travesty.
So-
I think I may have said that last time too, that we
Yeah.
did one of these.
I keep meaning to get it and watch it again, but I haven't yet either. So we should do that at some point. Just
Yeah.
I agree.
maybe
think-
daily. I don't know.
I think we need to rename this podcast Oops All Spider-Man.
That's everything we do.
But see,
Oh,
like,
no.
it's not oops all Spider-Man. It's yes all Spider-Man. There's nothing accidental about it.
Fair enough. You did specifically start us off on this note.
I am, so that did remind me, I'm really excited to try like drunk movie nights
Oh,
still.
God.
Just because there's so many good movies. I didn't start drinking until last year. And
Right. Skyvault did this to him.
I do it. I feel like I've felt out the different types of alcohol and stuff now.
Yeah.
And so for special occasions, we'll have drinks and stuff. And we had ideas to do like movie nights with just ridiculous off the wall movies that some of us haven't seen yet.
I'm infected.
And then
I
also
wanna do
drink at the
Repo
same
night.
time because it makes them more interesting.
Genetics.
One of them is going to be Repo the Genetic Opera, which
Such a
I
good-
watched completely stone cold sober the first time. And I don't think that was the correct way to go on that one.
I think so. The thing on drunk movie nights is there's a certain kind of movie that it's good for.
Yeah.
Like some things either the plot is so simple doesn't matter, or the plot is too convoluted and doesn't matter.
Right.
Like I think there's very little difference in your comprehension if you watch Primer drunk or sober.
I have watched Repo only sober, and it's still an amazing movie. So
I'm totes on board. Ready
Good.
for
I'm
ready for
excited.
it.
I want
It's
to try
really
it
great.
again
It's really
while
great.
drinking and just see how it changes. So real quick, we've mentioned before, and some of our fans already know about this event, but we do this thing called Kirk's Housewarming Party once a year. It started at Kirk's house. We did a housewarming party for him. Since then, we've done it again every year, and it doesn't matter if Kirk or his house are involved.
Right. We invite him formally every time, but he only shows up about half the time because he's in Florida. They're just dumb.
But every single time we watch this movie called Red Line, and if you haven't seen it before, don't look it up. Invite some friends over, pull it up on your TV, start drinking, and just hit play, and just experience the evening. It's just
If you're 16, don't do that.
I never thought I'd hear you say those words, Carl, after your reaction to Red Line.
The first time we showed it to
well,
him,
it was entirely different the last time we did it because I was drinking when we did it, which
That's
just
true.
changes. Like watching it while not drinking, I think you can attest, Allison, is not as fun.
Fair.
Probably.
did you not enjoy Red Line?
no, I liked Red Line. I just know I wouldn't have sober.
Okay, all
Even
right.
through my drunk eyes, I was like, "This is objectively not good sober."
Because Thomas watched it without drinking at all, right? Like he watched it just completely sober the whole time, which
He
I did the
never-
first
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And the first time we watched it, it ended, and I just got up and left the apartment immediately. I don't even think I said anything.
No, you just stared at me
Right. This is why I'm shocked.
mean mugged me and just left. But
I remember the credits rolling and you just being like, "Nope."
And the reasoning behind that has not changed, but
it's an objectively well-made, good movie.
I like it.
no, yeah, as far
just-
as
it's just
production
bizarre.
value goes, it's very well made.
Right.
The
it's
more
actually
you talk about it, the more people are gonna go look it up.
Don't
right
don't
now.
if you haven't seen it, I urge you, don't look it up. It's so much better if you just go into it blind,
That has
drinking or
literally
not.
never worked. That has never worked.
well, just keep it to a minute.
Well, they have to acquire it.
That's true.
Other
Has to
future
be someone's
candidates.
idea.
Other future candidates for Drunk Movie Night have been Spider-Man 3 with JP, just because that would be
It's the only way to do it.
And also Monty
yeah.
Python and the Holy Grail, because Allison has not seen it yet, actually.
Right.
Which is weird because I make like a ton of references to it my entire life because my brother and my dad did. Like my
Right.
whole life they were making references and I just didn't know.
It's a cultural lifestyle. You just have to like. I mean, you're part of it if you don't know it. Sort of like how Kirk still makes SpongeBob references without knowing.
Well, that's impossible to avoid.
And neither of you have seen Life of Brian, right?
I haven't, actually. I've only,
Oh,
that's-
Life of Brian is
Yeah.
so good.
Life of Brian's pretty good. Spamalot, the actual like the Broadway play, is just a combination of Monty Python and the Holy Grail and Life of Brian.
Oh, okay. I thought it
Mostly.
was just the one.
I mean, it's got
Does
a
it
couple
start?
of songs.
Does it
from
start in
Life
Life of Brian and continue with the artifact finding?
It's like so always look on the bright side of life. That's Life of Brian.
I listen to that when I'm depressed sometimes.
Do you guys have like one person in your life who you will just never trust with movie recommendations? I do. It was so growing up, my mom had every time she picked a movie, just like any movie that she wanted to go see,
Yeah.
it was always horrible. Like not even a bad movie, but like someone died in every movie she ever picked. And so she decided to redeem herself by telling us all that we needed to go watch March of the Penguins. And
Oh.
it was the worst thing. She never picked another movie after that. Seriously,
You
it's
didn't
been
like
like
March of the
15
Penguins?
years. What?
You didn't like March of the Penguins?
No, they all die.
Did anyone like March of the Penguins?
I love March of the Penguins.
Penguins die.
Yeah, well, I mean that's just nature documentary. Nature's scary.
I've seen nature
nature's
documentaries.
cold.
That one's horrible.
I mean, not every nature documentary has like long lingering close-ups of dead baby penguins in frozen ice, but
yeah,
That's sad. I never
But-
saw that.
it's a
Spoiler.
terrible movie.
I mean, Morgan Freeman guides you through it, so it's nice.
Yeah.
Did you know? Okay, here's a funny thing. Every once in a while I remember this. In French, March of the Penguins is a first-person movie.
Like
They narrate the penguins.
Interesting.
weird.
You know, that goes
Yeah.
along with the whole like noir type of thing. Like you know that stupid
Penguin
like
noir.
Henri the black cat or whatever. You know that it's like some old YouTube videos.
Le Chat Noir.
Le Chat
Oh
Noir,
yeah,
where
yeah,
he's
yeah. I
like,
do. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, those
he's
are
like,
amazing.
I am Henri. I
Yeah.
am sad. Whatever. I
Yeah.
don't know what he. I
That's it,
can't.
that's
It's
it.
been
Those are really
years.
That's it.
fantastic.
Yeah, no, it's but I was actually we were in the middle of watching a bunch of like nature documentaries at the time that was coming out. It was kind of like we were on that bubble, so it was kind of fun to watch.
Yeah.
I think the only other person on my list of people who cannot recommend movies would be John. He said, didn't he say something the other day like Sausage Party was good all the way up until the end?
Right.
Oh shoot.
Which I think means no.
I think my tastes just don't overlap with John's. I think he just has a specific, because he showed us the one about Kim Jong Un or whatever. What is
Oh,
it?
yeah.
The
interview.
The
yeah.
The interview was a totally fine movie that I just never really needed to see past the once.
So does John just really like James Franco and Seth Rogen?
One
He
thing,
actually
yes.
he's a self-admitted lowbrow humor fan. So like I guess that's fine.
I think there is a place for lowbrow humor, but
It's below the brows.
I
was-
don't.
There was one great thing.
Maybe
that came out of-
sometimes.
sorry.
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
I'm funny. That's why I'm here. Good joke. Wow.
There was one fantastic thing that came out of the interview, and it is exactly 2 seconds of James Franco standing up and making the best face I've ever seen anybody make, and I think
Actually-
it's been gifted to spread around the internet by now.
Is that like the disgusted face?
It's him standing up and then just like
Oh.
looking Seth Rogen up and down with like the one eyebrow raised up,
But that
and
gif-
the camera like pans up with him, and it's just this one amazing shot, like reaction shot.
But that gif is better than the movie.
It is.
I mean, it's
So-
actually every it's another one of those movies where like a lot of the individual gags are worth it, but nothing about them connected is.
Yeah.
Like I appreciated the Eminem like little breadcrumbs of gayness interview at the beginning.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that.
funny, actually.
At the beginning of the movie, there was like he was interviewing Eminem on his show or something.
Oh, right.
Which I think is like, I mean, it's kind of interesting just because I was hearing a lot back in the day of like Eminem sort of like, you know, no, I ain't gay, kind of like, you know, back when like homophobia was like the trendy thing in the hip hop
Yeah.
rap community. So it was sort of a weird little self meta reference like that it was kind of like, that's cute.
I try not to mention Eminem because I'm really worried that if I talk about him, people will remember him and then he will fall into the hole that is cancel culture. Not wrongfully. he deserves to be there. But
He's
such a big
like
part of my
apologized
childhood.
for like so much of it.
I think
And like
missed that.
he like with like new albums and stuff, he's talked about what a shitty person he was before.
Maybe that's why he just kind of like missed it.
Right. Eminem's whole deal is like he started off canceled, and that's like his aesthetic is like fighting back from being
Actually,
canceled.
that's
Yeah.
kind of.
Point. Yeah, that's a good point. That's
so-
fair. That's fair.
Also, he like I'm like 800% sure that he doesn't know what a Twitter is, and like
So now I can talk about Eminem again, like I've always wanted to and
no,
needed to.
I think you might be still right. I think it's still gonna. I think you could be the one, Allison. You'll ruin
fair.
him.
All right, I won't do it. That's all.
Eminem is insanely talented.
He really
But,
is actually.
White
Well-
people love Eminem so much, and it just makes it really hard for me, just really wholeheartedly.
Doesn't everyone like Eminem?
Well,
He's
mostly
pretty
white
respectable, yeah.
people.
No, I mean it's like it's.
I don't know.
He's like, he just has like all the normal like rap fans and white people, so it's like
Yeah.
We didn't have Macklemore yet, so
I guess what I'm trying to say is like white people who hate every other rap will be like, but Eminem's cool, and it just
Right.
comes off weird to me, even though I understand why people say that, and he had a different cultural moment maybe than some other
I
rappers.
mean it's
But
like he's also just legitimately
know.
like super talented, but it's also like, do you like him because he's talented because you're white? And it's like, so for reference, like my roommate who grew up in like the pit of rural Kentucky, where everything that was not like the whitest thing possible or anything that suggested like non-Baptist values was like lit on fire. Mm-hmm. And he listened to Eminem
Weird.
somehow. Like it's
Weird.
like that got through the filter.
Yeah, well,
That's fair.
I listen to Eminem like from youth group, like in the car going to youth group events is where I like learned Eminem songs
That's
because my parents
sacrilegious.
wouldn't let me listen to the radio. Well, that's not really true.
He's not really youth group approvable or actually approvable in any way. So
Yeah, so growing up, anytime I wanted to listen to any music, my mom had to buy the whole album, listen through every song herself, and then approve it before I was able to listen to it. I was still able to listen to like almost everything.
what didn't make the list? What got blocked?
Evanescence was delayed by 2 years.
Oh, by that point, it's not,
I got to listen to that. That
You
was like
need
my
Evanescence,
first
like-
secular album that I got to like listen to and enjoy.
That was I asked for it back in second grade, and I was not able to listen to
Second
it.
grade, girl. That's why. It's because you were like several years younger than me.
I was 7 or something. I don't know how old.
It's not even because it's not appropriate. It's like
You were
it's
like a tiny baby.
I started in 4th grade,
you
so
didn't
Right.
you didn't speak the language of angst yet. Like
my best friend did though, and so
Mm.
she was like, "You got to listen to this." And I went to my mom and I was like, "I want to listen to this," and she was like, "No." And then by the time I was in 4th grade, mature young lady,
Yeah.
I was able to listen to Evanescence.
Young,
So
you
weird.
getting all this?
Oh my god. Now he understands. That's fair. Yeah, I get. Well, so Kyle just finished all the Harry Potter. Finally, it's done.
good. That's
Nice.
He finished it.
relevant.
And I'm still
'Cause,
mad
yeah,
at
the podcast.
his mother because she didn't let him read it growing up. It's not even his fault.
Yeah,
she
so-
refused to let him read it
Yeah, no, I mean, growing up, I had like my parents were
because Satan.
Well, they followed. The first thing was like we never didn't follow like the rating systems.
Right.
Like I didn't watch a PG-13 movie until I was 13. It was SpiderMan. I didn't watch.
Oh my god.
I didn't watch an R-rated movie until I was 17, and it was The Matrix.
Interesting.
I watched it when I
Seriously?
was 16, maybe 15.
I didn't
my
play
God.
M-rated games until I was 17, and it was Halo. And,
Wow.
and those were all my first ones.
I don't know, like when I started playing M-rated games, I remember distinctly back when I had my N64 not playing teen-rated games because I was 11 or 12.
Sure,
And
yeah.
I don't think my parents would have cared at all, but I was like, I was so lawful neutral at this point in my life.
My parents cared quite a bit, and I just followed direction, so like I never
Yeah.
really like fought them on it. And I don't think like anything bad came of it because I had people
You
like
missed the Harry Potter.
I did.
Right.
So I mean, very early in my life, there was religious influence. My parents like slowly converted away from kind of an extreme version of Christianity that they grew up in over the course of my life. So I've actually like watched them get
Secularized.
Like, yeah. And so early on, yeah, I didn't read Harry Potter because it was in religious circles. It was
so
considered
weird to me.
evil or
Like,
something. I don't know.
I think it's interesting to me now because now you cannot go 3 feet without tripping over a new young adult fantasy series.
Yeah.
yeah.
Back in the day, this was big news. Like,
Yeah.
It was it was
It was so good.
like nowadays you just couldn't stop kids from reading things that involve magic or witchcraft because it's like
Yeah.
it's they like the young adult genre just lives and breathes it.
Yeah.
But like Harry
Well, yeah,
Potter was.
is that even still like? I mean, you guys interact with like kids more than we do,
Mhm.
at least. Is that
What are
still
they
like
reading?
a thing? Do like churches and stuff still promote like don't watch Pokemon or things
Nah,
like that? 'Cause
nah,
they used to do
It's
that.
we got all
Pokemon.
over it.
Yeah,
We
that
don't-
was There, have you
Pokemon.
you've seen the Pokemon feature video on YouTube?
Where
Surely,
they
right?
rip up a Pikachu with the ceremonial sword.
No.
Yeah.
I
Oh
think
my
that was
gosh.
like I think the
It's a-
90s and 2000s had like a scare moment where
A
like,
mini moral panic, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But it's don't Pokemon evolve.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Is that
Oh my God,
why?
oh my
Is
God.
that why?
That was the
thing is,
reason I was
a
told.
lot of the religious objection to evolution is because they think it works like Pokemon. So
Right, yeah, no, that's a good point.
Wow, that's crazy.
I grew up in a pretty like religious household, but we didn't really have a problem with those things, and neither did any of the other people we went to church with. But it's just different circles, I guess.
well, one thing about Harry Potter in specific is it's what's super crazy is it's objectively like a Christian story.
Right.
Like it uses a lot of Christian symbolism.
Yeah.
the snake is the bad guy, the lion's the good guy.
No,
there's
yeah,
resurrection themes. There's everybody sucks, but we can get past it. Like it is so almost blandly Christian at times.
Well, the
Yeah.
annoying thing too is that there basically are
Phoenix.
equivalents of it. Like the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is almost the same exact genre, but they're like the Lion's Jesus just in the book, and so all the Christians are like,
Right.
well, we're okay with
Well,
it.
they
then.
don't say the lion's Jesus in the book, but it's like
I mean, they do,
It's
pretty
like,
much.
but,
Someone did.
but I think the difference is that the main characters of Harry Potter are being trained to practice magic,
That's
which is
it.
an art that's like against the Old
My
Testament.
favorite thing,
Yeah.
the
So
Bible
that-
the Bible's like it says now it doesn't say now kids remember witchcraft isn't real. They're like it says don't do magic.
Right.
Right, witchcraft is
It's all
real and it's
keywords.
wrong. Yeah.
They call it witchcraft in Harry Potter
Right, I think-
directly. So
The
But there's
word
no
witch is the problem.
child in the
Right.
Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe or any of those books that actually learns to harness like the deep
Right.
magic or whatever.
Actually,
It's a
that's
pre-existing magic that's in the universe
Well,
that
that's-
Aslan can and the witch can harness.
The deep magic is important is different because like that's like Jesus Lion can use it, but like in the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the witch is the bad guy.
right.
Right.
Like,
I mean,
that's pretty prominent.
yeah, that's a
Right.
good point. So does that mean is Hagrid Jesus?
Is
I
what?
say yes.
Is Hagrid Jesus?
I feel like that's the only one who could be. Definitely not
Harry's
Harry.
Jesus. Harry is definitely Jesus.
Harry's not Jesus.
Harry
God,
Harry
no,
is
no,
angsty,
he
gritty
is.
90 reboot Jesus.
Kyle, think about it. Harry is Jesus.
Harry's the lamest Jesus.
Well, it's because we
I've
don't.
seen- okay, listen,
the
I've seen some
Gospels
pretty
skip
lame
right
Jesus.
over Jesus' teen years. Okay, so
Right,
it's
actually,
not fair.
right.
It's same with Aslan. It's not fair to Harry to be
One
like
of my-
you're
one of my-
bad Jesus.
I can bring
Harry.
up one of my favorite bits of Christian deuterocanonicity, the infancy gospel of St. Thomas. That's not deuterocanon, it's actually zero canon. Back in the medieval times,
In the medieval
times, people were clamoring for more adventures of Jesus because it was really important to modern or to medieval like peasant life. Because like, what else are you gonna do? You got the Bible, that's it. So people started writing new gospels. And discovering quote unquote lost gospels. And so there's the infancy gospel of St. Thomas where Jesus is an angry, whiny teenage badass. He like walks around like a guy bumps him in the ground and he's like, oh, what's that? You bump the Jesus, boom, and he just kills the guy.
That's actually just the Bible still, though.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a minimum of like angry, how dare you, Jesus killing in the existing testaments.
That's true. He didn't
Just-
bump
just the
him.
fig
He
tree.
just,
But
he
so,
just gave
like-
him all of his wealth, but like not all of it, like 99.9%, and then they were like, boom, dead.
Right. And so,
Slightly different.
so in that way, it's a bit more of the Harry thing, and we'll get into this the actual podcast because but like Harry's anger. That's the word. Harry's anger is kind of important in the relatability context.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's still too bad. Like if you didn't read the book, so you didn't get the full picture of it.
Well, hey. Hi. How have you been?
For people who can't see because you're listening to audio, John just walked downstairs and we were pretty sure he wasn't in the house for the last 2 hours.
Well, hey, John.
I was gonna yell a message to you. Congrats on getting your new apartment house thing.
Yes, it's literally next door.
Yay!
It's freaking
Now
great.
you'll be able to hear each other.
Hey, John.
No, hopefully not.
Will you give me a root beer? Thanks. Anyway, I think time's almost up, right?
We still got 10 minutes. We started a little bit after, so
Oh, okay.
yeah.
We should stop talking about Harry Potter because that's going to be like my main example.
Yeah, no,
for
yeah,
the,
that's sort of the main
Okay.
topic
for the also future Harry Potter spoiler alert.
superhero chicken chest.
Is that even can you even everybody's
Yeah, you can. I mean,
No.
but
Well,
no,
no,
because-
it only works if they listen to this podcast first before
Right.
that one. So
Well,
Well, I mean,
So,
but
pictures.
even still, everyone should have seen Harry
Right.
Potter. Like,
You know,
the
like,
spoilers are.
it's
they're-
okay. I put spoiler alerts at the beginning of all the Superhero
Like-
Chicken Fest
Yeah,
episodes.
that's
so
fair, I guess.
Like Snape kills Alan Rickman.
There's your tiny half.
This is the appropriate size that soda should be.
I
You're wrong.
agree, actually.
All right, everybody. Wow, John, you ruined it. Okay, let's try this again.
that's right.
That was horrible.
Now you need to sip loudly, okay?
It'll still sound better because it was next to the microphone. This is going to be like all distant and echoey.
Now,
Wow, you ruined my sip.
Oh, sorry.
this is
No,
now
it's done. It's over.
this is the kind of podcast I'm not listening to anymore.
This is literally the type of podcast that Kyle exclusively listens to.
Mostly. It started with Knox and Jason Steele's podcast, which is just absolute nothing for
Yeah.
like 30 minutes to an hour.
I just meant the ASMR aspects, but
He listens to Gus and Eddie now, which is just
It's
just nothing.
honestly,
It's
not-
absolute nothing.
Well, so Allison's used to listening to professional podcasts with people who
Right.
started
No.
podcasting to podcast.
no. That
but
is
most
not
of the
the
stuff,
case.
it is.
I don't listen to professional podcasts.
You
I
listen
listen to
to-
people with for podcasts with an intention.
Right.
Right,
But
yeah.
they're not YouTubers first.
No.
You listen to people who are podcasting for the sake of podcasting. YouTuber podcasts are an entirely different genre. It's just YouTubers sitting down
Rhett
and
and
going
Links
off
are
about
good.
nothing.
So,
Rhett and
it is
Links
for
have topics.
like it all depends on basically like all podcasting is. It's recorded radio shows, and so it depends on entirely on what kind of radio you used to listen to.
Yeah.
If you listen to morning radio, it's just like two people just blabbering, and all you're like just play more Britney Spears, and they're like, no, first let's talk about the weather, but with wacky voices.
Actually,
Oh my
that's
god,
kinda
I actually
similar.
really hate
And then-
morning radio. It's awful.
I hate it too, but
It's god-awful.
then there's people who listen to NPR talk radio, and it's like, here's a 6-hour digression
yeah.
into why the penny is the most important piece of American currency.
See, I feel like
That's the
I
kind of
know.
stuff I like to listen to.
I feel like I know exactly which category I am supposed to be in, but I exclusively listened to morning radio show on my way to school. I hated every second of it though. But I
It's
never listened to
garbage.
NPR.
Well,
I
you can
listened to
find-
JB and Sandy.
Most of it's pretty bad. Local stuff isn't usually pretty good. You can actually a really really popular local radio show that ended up like getting really big and then catapulting its hosts into pretty decent stardom eventually was Ricky Gervais's old show.
Yeah.
He started in radio.
Oh,
You can still
yeah.
find them online. It's him,
That's strange.
Stephen Merchant, and Carl Pilkington. That's how they all met.
Carl.
And then they're still doing things. But that was pretty much it. They would just
Right.
babble and then play some rock songs. And that was it.
Carl is like the redemption arc for Ricky Gervais.
I just
That's
want to
such
take
a
a
weird
moment
thing.
to say how much I love Carl Pilkington.
I'm still annoyed by him.
Carl, if you're listening, I love you.
He's kind of the worst.
It's like
That's why I love him.
The thing is, like, I get the appeal. Like, this is very unique and individual to me. I think, like, I understand the appeal of an idiot abroad, like, really strongly.
Yeah.
But I'm so pissed because I have never been able to leave the country.
Yeah.
It's like I find it's so grating. Like, don't be everywhere I want to be and don't appreciate it. I
is-
find no enjoyment in it.
It's definitely annoying to see somebody go do all the things you wish you could do and then not have like
I mean-
the ability to appreciate any of it.
It's like it's one of the most British things ever. I respect
British.
it very hardcore. It's like
Yeah.
it's such a it's like the definition of like a British flex, right? It's kind of like look at all these places we used to own and we don't even like them.
Yeah.
I think
It's a really interesting show.
I think Carl is more enjoyable if you watch him chronologically also because you get to see him kind of grow a little bit over the
Yeah.
course of it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Because if you start in like their podcasts and stuff where it's literally just Ricky Gervais asking him questions to make him look like an idiot
Right.
for the entire show, and then you slowly see him like be introduced to the world and sort of like expand his horizons a little bit, it's kind of interesting.
I really like the one they did one on like I don't remember where he went, but it was the place where they like designed coffins like individually per person.
Was
so
it
that-
Mexico?
I don't remember.
Maybe not.
But the episode ended up being really good because you have this guy who clearly doesn't think too hard about anything, discussing a topic like death,
Right.
and he would just like occasionally be like, "Never really thought about it. I guess that would work. That would work too. I guess all of this works. Really, everyone should just live until they die and then deal with it." It's like I envy him so much. It must be nice.
yeah.
I also like part of me. I can't let go of my thought that he's still mostly a character. Like,
I really don't think he
This
is.
is like a very
No.
divisive topic.
Yeah.
I will never be convinced that he at least doesn't play it up. because
I think he started taking advantage of what it got him later on.
Maybe.
But I think from the start that was actually just how he was, and I think probably most people who think he's a character don't come from England, because having gone around England a little bit, it's actually a pretty common disposition.
So like, I feel like part of the reason why I think it's a character is like I think you're right. Like it's a real person that exists, but the real person who exists isn't always entertaining.
That is true. He is
like
That's just the
abnormally
editing.
entertaining.
That has to be the editing. He doesn't even have he doesn't have enough thoughts for the things that he experiences. Like, he just doesn't. Like, they have to edit around the fact that I think most of the time that he is clearly like prodded to say things, obviously, because I don't think he talks that much in real life. He's not thinking that
I don't
much.
think he would be as interesting if he didn't have Ricky Gervais standing next to him, poking him most of the time.
And
I
setting
think
him
that's
up
what-
into terrible
yeah.
situations to watch him struggle.
If you just saw
like-
him at home, I bet he wouldn't be
No.
interesting.
Also, what a terrible friend. Ricky Gervais better have bought him like a house and like set him up for the rest of his life
Well,
or
I think
something.
he's been paying him, so.
I mean, he has essentially.
Yeah.
It's just,
I think it's a great match
Is it
because
worth
like
it?
if you need Ricky Gervais is at his core a terrible human being. Just like pretty much all parts. Now he happens to be a very entertaining terrible human being.
Fair.
And so to take advantage of Ricky Gervais's terrible soul, you need to inflict it on somebody who deserves it.
Yeah. Have you
And it's like the dichotomy is Stephen Merchant doesn't, Carl Pilkington does.
yeah.
Fair.
Have y'all seen that? Is it Derek? The
Yeah,
show that
it's
he made?
actually
Yeah.
season 1 of Derek is one of my favorite seasons of television ever.
It's great, and Ricky Gervais comes off as very much not an asshole.
Yeah, no,
I don't.
it's-
I don't believe you.
it's
I haven't
the
seen
only-
everybody who tells me that. I
It's
don't
the only
understand.
one of his shows that I've actually because I've tried watching some of his other episodic shows and I don't really like his series.
oh.
I like some of his stand up, but I don't like his version
think-
of The Office as much, and I don't like Extras either, which I tried watching. But Derek is really good.
You didn't like Extras?
I didn't. I tried watching some of it and I just couldn't get into it.
There's only like 6 episodes.
I've seen Derek, and I think it's pretty good.
You've seen a couple. It's worth watching. You still haven't made it through the whole season arc though. Like it's just really
I've
really
seen,
well
I've
written.
seen the whole season.
You haven't seen the whole season yet.
Yeah, I have.
You haven't.
Yeah.
Have you watched it when I wasn't there?
No, you showed it to
Then
me.
you haven't seen it. I haven't shown you the whole thing. There are distinct parts in the last episode that I've wanted you to see that we haven't gotten to yet.
Oh. Even still.
But yeah, I would highly recommend it. He has a new one
How are
on
we doing
Netflix
on
that I want to
time?
watch.
I feel like we're 10 minutes over.
No, we're actually still I think 2 minutes out, but we can go ahead and start winding it
When
down.
exactly did we start this podcast?
About-
A little bit after 8:30.
Like
8:33, 8:34.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So yeah, we're about at the end.
Okay. We should probably wrap it up then.
Just to wrap it all up, I keep reading it. Eminem did a song for Venom. It was
Did
called
he?
Venom. Yeah.
okay,
We should probably just watch that at some point.
I think that's another great example of a movie to watch drunk.
Yeah, probably.
Like, for instance, I'm glad we didn't do Assassin's Creed sober. Like that was
I wasn't drinking. We just talked the whole time.
yeah.
you were drinking.
Was I?
Yeah, you were drinking.
I don't remember.
I
That's
don't-
why you
remember-
can't remember drinking.
You're because
I remember the movie. So.
like you weren't like drinking like past the point of memory. You were like, but it's at a certain point you either like stop paying attention or you start talking so much you can't pay attention. You're doing the second one. You were drinking.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That probably happened.
Also, I found the subtitles for it finally, so we could watch it and see if the Spanish Inquisition parts are better.
I was so proud of myself because it was all like church language, which I know in Latin and Spanish is from Latin, so I actually could understand it, even a little tipsy. And I was like, yes, I know things. And that made me really happy.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to this second bowl of nonsense. We are going to eventually have these up on the website on their own page, and you can just access them as long as you're donating on the correct tier. At the moment, we're just posting them onto Patreon directly because we don't have that page set up yet. But we'll be sure to let you all know when that's available. So yeah,
Cool.
thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
See you later.